A community is coping tonight with the loss of 4 young adults after a fatal car crash in Gilchrist County overnight on Sunday. Cameron Bell, Hayden Rollerson, Alicia Littlejohn, and Isabella Garcia were pronounced dead on the scene. The Florida Highway Patrol is still investigating this fatal head-on collision at County Road 340 and U.S. Highway 129 near Bell. Our Julia Jenae joins us live from Sandalwood High tonight, where 3 of the 4 victims were recent graduates. Julia.
Anthony, a 5th person in that car, Blake De La Paz, he was also a Sandalwood High graduate. He is fighting for his life in a hospital. A woman in another car from Trenton, Amy Williams, was also seriously injured. Tonight I talked to a coach and a teacher here at Sandalwood High who said he knew 4 people in that vehicle, and he said this tragedy has changed his approach to life.
Love life. They were all happy. They all had smiles that were infectious. They were great kids to be around.
That's how a Jacksonville coach is remembering 2 of his former athletes, Cameron Bell and Hayden Rollerson, and one of his students, Isabella Garcia.
They're still children, they're still kids. You know, it was 5 o'clock in the morning. At 5:05, I had to relook at the text. Then I had to make sure I wasn't dreaming.
Wrestling coach Casey Gibson of Sandalwood High says they are still processing how and why.
You know, and it was overwhelming.
He says Cameron Bell, pictured here with his twin brother Chandler, was a wrestling 2-time conference champ. Rollerson, also a conference champ.
Wrestling community as a whole in Northeast Florida, the response has been overwhelmingly these other coaches, referees.
The 5 young adults were on their way back to Jacksonville from Bob's River Place in Branford. FHP reported none were wearing a seatbelt. 4 now leave behind families and communities.
If there's any underlining that's, you know, somewhat positive, is they've had a lot of outreach to everybody trying to, you know, help ease the situation and make it better.
Loved ones met on Neptune Beach Sunday evening in their memory. Gibson says out of this tragedy is a lesson he'll be stressing more with every young person he meets.
I wear my seatbelt every time now. And that's the one thing I can, you know, say to children out there who are listening. When you have, I know it doesn't think much, but it only takes 2 seconds. And the life you save may be your own.
1-year-old Hayden Rollerson was a member of the fraternity Alpha Tau Omega at UNF. That fraternity is planning a vigil next week on Monday at 8 p.m. at the Student Union in his honor. A few hours ago, I did talk to the father of Cameron Bell, who you saw pictured there with his twin brother. He was too emotional to do a camera interview today, but he described his son as a wonderful kid who he always told to be safe before he left the house. Reporting live from the South Side, Julia Jenae, First Coast News on your side.